So I said the word Saigu for some of our folks. They might not know what that means. What is Saigu?
So in Korea, we mark important dates or events by the date, kind of like 9/11. And so 429 literally means, Saigu means literally 429 or April 29th, which is the date 1992 that the LA riots broke out. Probably a year before the LA riots broke out, um, basically there was an African American individual named Rodney King who was pursued by the police, and then ultimately in the chase they caught up with him and brutally beat him to the pulp. And a year later, because it was captured on camera, a year later when the conviction came out, everyone expected that the four police officers would be convicted, and instead they got no jail time. And at the same time, which obviously caused not just a lot of surprise, but a lot of anger, particularly from the African American community, but really everyone, I would say, were quite surprised. And at the same time, a year before, there was a Korean grocer named Sunja Do, and there was an interaction in which ultimately a 13-year-old Latasha Harlins, an African American young student who ended up being killed in that interaction. And so again, at the end of that 1 year period, literally back to back, her conviction was no jail time. And unfortunately, those two video clips were played literally next to each other, like, I'm exaggerating, but like 10 million times. And so it was intertwined, even though it really were two different events. But in that anger, the riots broke out, and ultimately there were over $1 billion in property damage. And of that, over 40% were Korean American owned. Which actually made up, in terms of a number count, over 60% of the businesses. And it took over 4,000 federal soldiers or troops, the National Guard, to come in and restore order. And so, you could say all hell broke loose, particularly because the police abandoned ship, and really the politicians as well, that really allowed the play by the media to really catch on fire. And instead of stifling it, it inflamed and ultimately led to some really horrific pain for all the parties involved in the community.